All right, this is Meteorologist Matthew Carter with your forecast for Wednesday, January 21st. So first looking at, this is as of 4 p.m. Winds out of the south at DC with a temperature of with a temperature of 40 degrees in the city, or at the airport, sorry. This is likely at Dulles Airport. Um, as you can see, a cold front well to our west in the Midwest, warmer air in our region with cooler air um, on the other side of a warm front that to our north, colder air in the Pennsylvania, New York region, as you can see here. But on our side, or on the other side of the warm front, with winds out of the south and warmer air in our area. Uh, Going from that and looking at the current temperatures in our area, as you can see, there's some precipitation currently to our west over the mountain regions. Winds are currently out of the south at Dulles Airport, a temperature of 39 degrees, and at National Airport, a temperature of 38 degrees. So fairly mild, really, for this time of evening right now. Um, Looking at precipitation for here, we have that precipitation remaining to our west, but remaining dry here with no real precipitation over the next 48 hours or so, according to the this model run, the HER, which is a high resolution model. Looking at temperatures for tomorrow, temperatures are likely to warm into the low 50s, so fairly mild weather tomorrow. But then winds shift out of the northwest by tomorrow evening, bringing in cooler weather for the day on Friday, with lows only in the 20s and highs reaching likely the low 40s. Then moving along from there and looking at temperatures, more temperatures, this being the American model. As you can see here, winds shift out of the winds again shift out of the northwest. It looks like by Friday evening, bringing in some very frigid air starting on Saturday morning. Temperatures only around 11 degrees. Temperatures warming up, but only slightly throughout the day, only likely into the low 20s on Saturday. Sunday, an area of low pressure will be passing through our region. As you can see, it moves along the coast, 1,015 millibars along the coast, and will be to the northwest of this area of low pressure, which is likely to lead to us seeing a significant amount of snow. Um, and it may not sound like a super significant area of low pressure, being 1,015 millibars, but there will be such high pressure with the Arctic air moving in from Canada that in our region the pressure will be like 1,030 millibars. So that area of low pressure is significantly lower um, than the pressure in our region. And as you can see by these isobars, there is a significant change in pressure as this system moves up along the coast to our southeast and brings us likely a major snowstorm into our area. Behind that major snowstorm, we'll likely see temperatures cool again, winds out of the northwest, and by Tuesday morning, look at that. If this happens, it would definitely be record-breaking cold. A temperature of 4 degrees at the airport. Temperatures uh, further north only around, in some areas, minus 12 degrees, minus 7 degrees. Look at those cold temperatures. That's very impressive cold that we barely ever, it's very, very rare to see here on the East Coast. You typically see cold like that a lot of times in the Midwest, and it doesn't make its way across the mountains and to the coast. But if these models are right, this will be very impressive cold. Uh, Going from there and looking more at the snow chance itself. So going back to, let's start on the later Friday. As you can see, still dry, so you can still prepare for this system moving in. Most of the day Saturday, you'd be able to prepare as well, and it'll still be dry. And then once we get into Saturday evening and overnight, snow begins to move into the area. Snow picks up and continues to pick up in intensity by in the day Sunday. You can see this this not rain, this sleet snow line in our region. Uh, and this American model keeps that south and east of DC. But where that ends up is a big question in how much snow areas will get. And this very heavy snow moving out by late Sunday evening to overnight Sunday. And this American model brings 18.7 inches of snow, an extremely impressive snowstorm for DC. If this happened, if 18.7 inches of snow fell at National Airport, it would definitely be a very historic snowstorm, one of the biggest on record, really. Um, in 2016, only 17.8 inches were measured at National Airport, so that would be very historic if that did happen. But um, there's a lot of factors going into this, and that's still in the exact amount of snow is still a big question mark with this event. Because we can look at other models here. Let's look at the European model, and you can see here in the European model, this is late Saturday evening. So Saturday evening to overnight Saturday, the snow begins to fill into our area, similar to the American model with that. Snow begins to pick up in intensity late Saturday night into Sunday morning with some very intense snow. But the sleet snow line, the sleet go, the sleet moves much further north and west on this European model, uh, leading to potentially some mixed precipitation further north and west, and potentially into DC itself, which would limit snow totals. So this just all depends on where this area of low pressure tracks. If it tracks further north, it'll limit our snow totals and bring us mixing. If it tracks further south, our snow totals will remain very significant with likely little to no mixing at all. Um, so depending on where that tracks, whether we get sleet or not is a big determinant of our exact snow totals in our area. Then the snow moves out by late Sunday evening, according to this European model run. The snow totals on the European, if we can compare them to the American model, the European brings around 14.4 inches of snow to DC, more to the north and west, and less to the south and east. So Richmond only 7.2 according to this. Uh, Southern Virginia, some areas only around 3 inches. So just depending on how much sleet mixes in will determine a lot of snow totals. And the snow totals are limited at least a good 4 inches, it looks like, on this European compared to the American model, given that mixing in with sleet. Um, and a major snowstorm really across the Northeast, though, and even throughout much parts of the Kentucky, some decent snows in the Midwest as well. So this is going to be a big storm all around for sure. And then also there's going to be a lot of ice um, within the deep south. So this is a really major snowstorm and a really major winter storm for affecting millions and millions of people. So this is pretty concerning in that front. Um, Now moving on from there, looking at more model runs. just because you want to look at, in order to get the most accurate data and reach the most accurate conclusions, you want to look at a lot of models um, to see what's happening. This model is the AI European run, which brings about a foot of snow to DC itself. The AI GFS run, I don't think that'll bring us the snow here. Looking at a Canadian run, sorry, I can pull that up. The Canadian run will bring us about 9 inches of snow to DC. The Icon with about 11 inches to a foot of snow. And the UK Met, which can sometimes do a decent job of forecasting these snow events. Looking at the UK Met, it brings us about 14, 15 inches of snowfall in DC itself, and fairly similar snowfall throughout the surrounding areas. It also has little mixing um, with sleet even further south and east. So there's still some disagreement within model runs, American, European, UK Met, many other models, the Icon as we looked at, um, the, the Canadian runs, the NAM, the track of the storm and how much mixing there will be in terms of snow and sleet. There's still a lot of disagreement about that. So that's something you'll want to stay tuned about in order to know exactly how much snow uh, we will likely get in the DC area. Nonetheless, this looks like a very significant snowfall and something you should prepare for sure. Um, going from moving on from there, as I mentioned before, that extreme cold air likely to move into our area by around Tuesday of next week. The National Weather Service also mentions that in their forecast discussion, um, saying after the storm departs late Sunday night, frigid temperatures may pose a risk of hypothermia, power, phone, and shortage of supplies across the region. So that's another concern, is not just the snow, but also the frigid air behind the snow and the effects that could potentially have to our area. So stay tuned on this channel for more updates about the potential for a significant snowstorm. The exact totals obviously are still uncertain given continuing changes in tracks and inconsistencies within models, but something you can be fairly certain of at this point is that there will likely be a significant snow event in our area. Um, there's a decent potential for at least double digit snowfall totals, at least 10 inches, potentially over a foot of snow. So stay tuned as we reach more certainty about the exact amounts um, as this event moves closer. But yes, if you're, um, but yes, this definitely looks like a major event in our area. Um, thank you so much for watching, and have a good evening.